Hi guys, welcome back to the channel Progress Everything. Today's video we're talking about a bike training franchise. I think it's quite interesting. I've got an experience in investing in franchises, and I'm going to go through and analyze their presentation, their pitch deck, their proposition, if you like. If you just give me a moment. Here we go. It's called Fox Cycling in the UK. It's got EIS, which is Investment Enterprise. It's like a discount, so you get 30% income tax relief. So that's quite good. A lot of these smaller companies have that. So basically, they train people, or kids rather, how to teach, how to ride a bike. So they've got the market stats here: 1 million children's bikes sold in 2020 in the UK alone. About 324 excluding VAT, so about 400 total. His average price. Teaming is former chair of the Industry Trade Association, and the market's valued at 2 billion. Let's just quickly watch the video. As normal, I might stop it to talk through some of my comments, but let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Steve.
Well, this is on Vimeo. Vimeo is notoriously a bit more sticky than YouTube. It might stutter a little bit, so just wait for this to load a little bit. But I'll talk about like franchises in general. I think franchises are a really good model. If you've got a strong product and service, and you can service those franchisees, then you can make money from the franchisees because they pay a franchise fee, and you take a split of the revenue that they generate as well. So it's quite a low cost way of growing a business. All right, let's see if we can.
Chief Fox at Fox Cycling. When I was 3, I couldn't cycle. My granddad, Jack Fox, cobbled together a balance bike, and that was the start of my journey.
That's nice.
Over the years, I've noticed so many children struggling to learn to cycle and thought this is avoidable. So I created a process that teaches kids to cycle in less than an hour.
That's a strong proposition. Teaching kids to cycle in less than an hour. That's a strong start.
No stabilizers, no tantrums, no backaches, just kids loving cycling.
That's also strong because I imagine if you're a parent, I remember trying to learn to cycle myself, and it was a nightmare and it was stressful. If they can got that process for that, sounds
so
good.
Families can cycle together. My passion turned into an exciting business, particularly when I started selling lots of bikes and helmets and turned it into a franchise. For every child taught to cycle, our pilot franchise sells 1.5 bikes at an average price of £325.
That's about £500 then.
Average customer spend is £450. So you can see what we offer is unique and in demand.
And from a marketing perspective, obviously, for those that know or don't know, my experience, 12 years in marketing, I work for WhatsApp and Meta. So I understand marketing. And if you've got a spend of $450, you can this guy could probably acquire customers quite cheaply on online advertising, because kids want to learn to cycle, parents want to teach their kids. If this teaches them in an hour, I'm sure he could get customers. If he did the marketing well for less than £100, probably more like 20 or 30, and then they're getting an average basket of $450. So I think this could scale quite well.
So thank you for your interest. Check out the rest of this video, a breakdown of what Fox Cycling is all about.
Fox Cycling offers a 3-step process. Step 1, Cycle Tots, group balance bike sessions for preschoolers, giving them the foundation needed to become pedal ready. Step 2, Cycle Kids, 1-to-1 learn to cycle in an hour. The parent often purchases from us a proper lightweight child-specific bike. Step 3, buy a bike. The Portishead pilot performed as follows. 2018, 169 children taught to cycle, 245 bikes sold. 2019, 196 kids taught to cycle, 241 bikes sold. 2020, even during lockdown, 150 kids taught to cycle and 236 bikes sold. Our first franchisee launched in Bishop Stortford in October 2020.
That's where we're getting married, actually, in Bishop Stortford in 3 months' time. Interesting. There's obviously a correlation between kids learning and then buying. You'd expect a lot of the kids to learn to want to buy a bike. That makes sense. In the video earlier, it looked like they were very young, like toddlers, and then they were a bit older. So I don't know if they're charging for the lessons, if you like, and waiting a couple of years for them to buy a bike, or if it happens instantly. It's a little bit confusing, but maybe they'll explain it.
With all available sessions totally sold out. Our second franchisee launched in Bristol in September 2021.
If I decided to teach my son in less than an hour, miracle workers. Did not believe that they get my child cycling. Amazing. In
Our
less than an
average
hour.
customer
Incredible.
value for Cycle Kids is over £450.
Yep, they've
And
said
in
that.
2020, we sold 1.5 bikes per customer. In 2020, we introduced the Cycle Tots product in readiness for a franchise expansion
So this is, I think, what they're talking about. This is for the young kids.
across the UK. There currently is no national provider of learning to cycle classes
So this is the classes. This is another product or another service, if you like. I think that's interesting.
in the same way as there is for football, rugby, swimming and dancing,
That's a good point.
etc. We aim to build a network of 100 franchisees.
I think that's completely doable. If there's no one offering this service and there's high demand for people to learn, I think this would spread quite quickly in the parent groups, online and amongst parents and schools.
Teaching children to cycle, with all of the bikes sold to parents purchased through our central online store and delivered to the customer the following day.
Sounds good.
Our franchise model has 3 revenue streams. We charge a franchise fee of £20,000.
That's good. It's quite cheap as well. It means that there should be quite a high demand for people wanting to start a franchise. I know that Domino's Pizza years ago they were charging £250,000, £250,000. It's probably more than that now, and a few others. For the franchise models that make a lot of money, they normally charge a lot. So if they're only charging 20, they should get a lot of people interested all over the country.
As well as a management service fee of 8%.
That's small as well. 8% management fee is very, very small. A lot of companies charge 10, 15, 20%.
On the Cycle Tots and Cycle Kids revenue. And finally, the bike sales from all franchisees are processed through our accounts, on which we earn 20%.
That's good.
And gross margin on each sale. We will use the funding to accelerate franchise expansion, upgrade our booking system and customer support. We're building the go-to brand for family cycling with a product that has the wow factor.
I think this is really interesting. I think, a lot of this is scalable. They only need a small customer service team. I imagine recruiting franchisees is not going to be that expensive, and it's quite scalable. They might be able to get to 100 franchisees with a very small team of 3 or 4 people, maybe.
This is just the start of our exciting expansion plans, and we'd love to have you on our team.
So, there it is. Before I leave you, people ask me, why is now a good time to invest in Fox Cycling? My response is, well, for many reasons. One of those is we've spent the last several years working on our product market fit, and we are now ready to scale up across the UK. So, come and join our ride. Thanks again for watching this video. Here comes our short outro. Thanks and take care.
Fox Cycling. Learn to cycle in an hour.
I really like that. I do. I don't think many investors will kind of get this because it's quite different. I'll just stop sharing my screen one moment. I don't think a lot of investors on platforms will connect with this. If you think about the things that do well, mass money or the mass of all the, some people call it dumb money or young money. They're going to be investing in eco startups, in cool fintechs, and then big money or smart money is going to be probably investing in things like fintechs and technology companies, robotics, things like that. This doesn't fall under anything. I think if you think of the profile of investors, the mass investor, the everyday investor, uneducated or non-sophisticated investors, people that are going to be probably investing between £10 and £300, they might not have invested in a franchise before. They might have only thought of like McDonald's as a franchise or something like that. Now, for those people, if you are, a small-time investor and you're just investing a small amount of money in various projects, you shouldn't discount franchises. I invested in Domino's Pizza, which did fantastically well in the UK. And franchises can scale very rapidly. They're targeting 100 franchisees. I think that's a sustainable, realizable goal. I guess the question is, can they do it with the small amount of money they're raising? I don't know. But I think it will happen. I just think it might happen a bit longer. Let's have a look at their investment deck to see if it's going to tell us anything else. I think I've got access. I do. Let's download that and we'll go through it. See if it tells us anything different. Often does these things. Let's put this into presentation mode. Let's go through it. Investment, as we said, it's EIS investment. They're looking to do a trade sale or private equity in 5 to 7 years. They're going to purchase more stock, franchise recruitment, key hires, teach children to hire, equity on offer is 15%. They're valued at 850. They're seeking to raise 150. They're not far away from 150 at the moment. 1/3 of primary school aged children in the UK cannot ride a bike. We teach children to ride in less than an hour, and of the 150 children taught to ride in Bristol, resulting bike sales were 235. Out of interest and context, my mother never learned to ride a bike, and I think if you don't learn to ride a bike when you're young, the chances are you won't ever learn to ride a bike. So I think this is a good business. They say the bike market is worth 800 mil. Approximately a third of bikes sold are children's bikes. 85% take place offline. Estimated 10% of the 2,500 independent retailers closed in the last 12 months. So they've got the opportunity almost to be. There's a number of different businesses here. You've got the school classes they mentioned. You've got the franchisee revenue they mentioned, and the fact they could be an online retailer for children's bikes. They could be, I'm sure there's Halfords and people like that and Amazon, but the fact that they're selling them through the franchisees, I think builds trust. And I think there will be people buying it just direct through them. So I think that's really interesting. Competition, they've got learn to cycle classes, pedal power kids and balanceability. And the retailers, Halfords and Isla. But I think they're both. So I think that's what I just mentioned, I guess. That's really interesting. Started for 10 years teaching thousands of children cycles. That, in contrast to the standard approach, children benefit from a pedal bike purchased after they've learned to cycle. So they're teaching these people in these classes, and then they're taking them through a journey. Cycle tots, cycle kids, balance bike, pedal bike. So I think that's really interesting. So here they've got cycle kids bike sales 150, 135, 136. Revenue's going up. It's not in a linear manner, but it is going up pretty well. Remember, they've only got the Bristol pilot. So this is just one. It's just one store, I guess. I don't know if it meant that Bristol was launched in 2016. I'm not sure. And Balance Bike Rentals and Cycle Tots are new products. So Cycle Tots is not including that revenue, and bike rental is not included in the revenue in this column here. So I think Cycle Tots is going to do really well. If you imagine, I don't know how much it's going to charge, but let's say it's £5 per child. They can easily get 10 children in each class, and they may make, the franchisees may make £50 an hour, £40 an hour. They have to pay someone, but they have to pay someone to be at the store anyway. So it might be the same person potentially, or maybe they pay a young person £5, £6, £7, £8, £9 an hour, whatever. They're still going to be making decent amount of money, maybe £30 an hour for that. So I think they could get revenue if they're getting 8% of that £30 an hour. Okay, it's only £3, but if you times it by 100 franchisees, that's £300. That's only 1 hour. Imagine if they have 30 hours. So £300 by 30 is 10k. And imagine that's every week. That's 10k a week. That's 500k revenue just from Cycle Tots and that'll be basically profit because they're not doing anything for that. I mean, there may be some costs, but that's just an idea there. So for the individual franchisee, I think they could make money from Cycle Touch. I don't know how much bike rentals will cost, but you can imagine that would be a good revenue line as well. The founder, right, like the name, Fox, and Fox Cycling, Stephen Fox, sounds good. He's got some business management experience. He's done a bit of this. They've got a finance director, he's got an MBA from Cambridge University, and he's also been involved in franchises. So I think that's a really good team. So you only need a small team at the moment. Route to market, I'm going to go from right to left here, because that's the most important thing. The route to market is through a network of franchisees. They've already launched one. They've got a USP, learn in less than an hour, and they've got a big market. I think they could recruit people from franchise shows and things like that. Milestones, they launched a pilot in 2016. Work to franchise Fox Cycling begins. Not sure what that means. First franchisee launch in 2020. Crowdfunding round is it's kind of now. They want to expand the management team and they want to commence a rollout. I think this is very achievable. They're saying they're going to have 6 franchisees by the end of this year, and then 17. So they're going to be profitable, it looks like, from the get-go. So if we zoom 4 to 5 years away, 2026, they expect to have 72 franchisees with a revenue of nearly 1.5 million and £1 million net profit. That would mean they'd easily be valued at 10 to 20 million, easily. They might even be valued a lot more, because if they're growing franchises at that rate, they could be valued at 30 million or 40 million. So that's kind of interesting. Let's look at this growth from 6 to 17. I think that's realistic. There's quite a big jump from here, 17 to 39. But you'd imagine that they'd be spending a lot more on franchisee shows, maybe in advertising. Word of mouth will come into play as well. Raising 150. They've got about 130, I think, at the moment. I think this is all pretty good, to be honest. They're going to hire a franchise recruitment manager. So that's good. Working capital, and you can email them if you want. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm glad that I went into the investment deck and the pitch deck. I think it was solid. They did mention the total market, but I think they've got a solid plan. They're only asking for a small amount of money. I think they'll grow their franchise base. They've added new revenue streams, if you like, with bike rentals and these Cycle Top classes. I think they're going to increase their bike sales as well. You never know, they might even start to increase the cost for a franchisee. In the next few years, it might go up from 20 to 30k. You never know. So the revenue might even be higher. They're only valued at the moment at 850k. If they do well, like a lot of these startups, it's a big if. But if they do well, they could easily be valued at 20 or 30 million. That is more than 30x. It could even be 40, 30 to 40x could be the size of return if this business is able to execute in the next 5 years. If they do very, very, very well, you never know, in 7 to 10 years, they could be valued at 50 to 100 million. And then you're talking 60 to over 100x return on money invested. It is early to invest in this business, but I like it. I have experience investing in franchises. I think they've opened up a kind of niche. If they can franchise and grow their base well and manage growing pains, I think they can do well. I haven't invested a huge amount myself, but I might be tempted. I might be even convincing myself to invest a bit more in this business. Anyway, if you've got any questions, comments, queries, let me know in the comment section below. If you want to learn more about analyzing companies, investing in startups, or even in listed equities on normal stock markets, and I've got videos about that too, some stretching back even 10 years. Anyway, if you like these videos, make sure to like the video. Subscribe if you see value in these videos. I hope you do. I will be publishing updates from some of these firms that are pitching and how well they've done, and when they update the market, 6 to 12, 18 months post raise. I've got some of those updates on this channel. So check those out as well. Consider subscribing. Remember that knowledge is power, especially the right kind of knowledge, and progress is everything. I'll see you guys in the next upcoming video. Take care.